Hi, welcome to the Natasha Knows Show. I'm your host, Natasha P. Knows. Today we celebrate Women's History Month and health awareness. So join me as I interview some amazing women sharing their stories. You don't want to miss it. Natasha Knows. Natasha Knows.
You know what it is.
Natasha Knows. Hi, welcome back to the Natasha Knows Show. I'm your host, Natasha P. Knows. Our next guest is an author who uses her story to support the reentry into society of ex-offenders and reunite families, as well as inspire everyone who may feel hopeless or helpless in their present condition. Here to talk more about her journey, please welcome Miss Angela Taylor.
Hi, thank you,
Hi.
Natasha.
Thank you for being a guest on the Natasha Knows Show. So how are you feeling right now? Or just in general, how are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel very excited at this point. There's a lot happening, a lot of positive transitions. So I feel I'm in a good space.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
So, if you don't mind, I'm going
Oh,
to just
sure.
hold your book up. Who inspired you to become an author and write the book Finding Healing? Who or what inspired you?
Honestly, I had written the first book. It was going to be part of a PhD program that I was in, like a case study. I didn't want to identify that the story was actually my story. So I went to a friend of mine, offered to treat me to a trip to see Lisa Nichols.
Oh, okay.
And we
I've
went to,
heard of her.
yeah, she's amazing. Chicken soup for the soul, for the African American
Right,
soul,
right.
and so we basically went there, and there were a lot of aspiring authors and so on. And there's where I met my publisher, and everything fell into place. That was in May of that year.
Wow.
By October, the book was releasing.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
already started writing? You
Yes.
had already started.
It
Yeah.
was sitting in it was sitting for almost 8 years.
Were you ever thinking about self-publishing before you met your publisher,
I
or?
I didn't think about the process of publishing. To me, being an author seemed something out of reach, and that I didn't really. I was raising my sons. I was working full time as a history teacher, and I really didn't think about actually being an author
Right.
until I saw the Lisa Nichols workshop and everything.
Right.
And then I could see it for me. I felt like she was pointing at me when she said, "How dare you not tell your story?"
Right.
And that was it, because for 25 years I lived in Bergen County. Most people didn't know where I came from. I was born in prison, and I went through the New York and New Jersey foster care system. I did
Until what age?
until about 8. I was in like formal care,
Okay.
and then my dad got me, and we lived in Brooklyn, and then he passed when my junior year, and then I went to
sorry
stay
to hear
with.
that.
Thank you. My mom's mom, and so it was
So then you
still.
went to live with your biological mom,
No,
or
her mom,
her mom?
my grandmother.
Oh, your mom's mom. But
So
that was your biological
that was my
grandmother?
biological
Your paternal.
grandmother.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Well,
yes.
it kind of, that's an interesting dynamic. So you were born in prison, placed in foster
Straight
care,
into foster care.
and then
And there
you
were in and outs, because and I talk about this in my book also. Why was my mom in prison? Because she was self-medicating a bipolar disorder. So really, she was not in a condition to care for children.
Right.
And it was so these are the kinds of things that children are going through now.
Yeah.
And that's why I wrote the second book, to connect educators like myself, and or anyone who knows children who are in these crisis situations, and they don't know where to turn, and the child is heavy on their heart. Like, you go home sometime
Yeah.
and you're thinking about these children and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, I have very easy, simple links and stuff like that where you could get resources for children.
So your book, is it safe to say that your book is like a how-to book, or it's not just telling your story? It has
The
like
second
steps
one,
to.
well, in a way, you know, even the first book, I talk about how I got through certain things. As far as prayer, I was, even as a young girl, one of the homes I lived in, I lived with two nuns, Sister Anne and Sister Francis, the Sisters
That
of Peace.
seems like it may have been interesting.
Oh, it
you know?
was,
Yeah.
and I have a
and
strong
informative.
faith
Sure.
in God because this is full circle, right?
Right.
Sister Anne and Sister Francis ran the St. Mary's Home for Girls, and then one of the older girls brought in drugs in the house, and the state took over, and that's when we ended up in the shelter for children.
Oh, wow.
And
So
then
that
that's
you were
where
removed
my
from the-
dad,
you
we
were
were all
removed from the-
removed,
Oh,
and then
wow.
they shut the home down.
Yeah, that's
Um,
unfortunate.
yeah, but that's when my dad came to get me and so on. But fast forward 20 years, I'm teaching at Teaneck High School,
Yeah.
and one of the science teachers or she became supervisor. I don't know if she was that at that time. She was mentored because at some point she had been a nun
Oh, wow.
by the sisters who raised me.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
we
interesting.
reconnected, and I was working on my second
And
master's.
excuse me, you don't remember seeing this woman as a child? Like, because, you know, like
That
when you
woman?
see, yeah, you know, when you see someone years
No,
later, you're like,
she-
I saw you before.
Yeah,
That
no,
sort of thing?
she wasn't with her. Sister Ann,
okay.
not at that, not when I was a child.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
later on,
And life,
when they
crossed
shut
paths.
when they shut the home down.
Okay.
I think at that point the sisters went on to a different assignment,
Right.
which included mentoring this science teacher.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we reconnected, and I was working on my second master's at St. Peter's.
Wow.
They rent space from St. Michael's Villa where they have aged nuns. I would have dinner with Sister Ann and then go to class. As she got a little, older, the rehab was right around the corner from my house. And when she was at Holy Name, which is directly across the street from my middle school where I teach now. So through her time of need, it was like full circle. I was there with her.
I actually attended that middle school.
TJ?
Yes,
Oh.
I attended TJ
Wow.
years ago.
What year did you
I'm not even going to
graduate?
say
I wanna
on television
because
what
you
year.
may have gone with my roommate from college. She went to TJ.
What's her name?
Lizette
we should-
Parker, former mayor.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Lizette.
she
She just passed away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
may
was-
she rest in peace.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. Yeah, I know Lizette really well.
Yeah.
I actually went to the memorial, and my mom and I went to her funeral.
Wow.
Yeah, when she was funeralized, and then they named a block after her.
Oh, yes.
In Teaneck.
Yes.
Lizette Parker Way.
Way.
And
Yeah.
I think she lived on that block, right?
She lived on, yes, that's
She lived
Selvage.
near that- that block.
No, she lived on
She lived on the block. I
Selvage.
thought that was so courageous and so, like, it was a monumental moment for Teaneck, New
Right.
Jersey to name, first of all, she was
Yes.
the first black mayor,
In the
woman
county.
in the
Yes.
county. That was
Yes.
big. And she was under the age of 40 when she
Yes.
became mayor of Teaneck, New Jersey.
Count-
And-
yeah.
excuse me,
Council, right, and
the
then-
council, right.
Right.
And she was always awesome in school,
Yes.
always outspoken, always, I want to say she probably ran a club or two when we were in school, So I know her really, really well. I mean, I don't know her personally as far as hanging out with her, but I know of her being in the same, school and things like that. So I want to say that she was maybe a year older than me, but I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't know her.
89, we all graduated high school.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay. So she was a few years older than me, but
Yeah.
I heard of her, and I knew
Yeah.
that she attended the same school and
She
things
loved
like that.
Teaneck.
Yeah, she loved
She
Teaneck.
lived. I mean, I had never heard
She
of
loved
Teaneck until, and she teased me because what about Teaneck now?
Yeah.
Because I was teaching in Teaneck, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, because so it's awesome. She's in the book, but I changed her name in the book. but she's my roommate.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't sure how anyone would take being in the book, so I
Right.
changed most people's names.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's a
I
good
knew
point.
I was ready. And then turned out, you know, they didn't mind. Of course, I didn't. Everyone is in a positive light in the
Right. In
book,
the book, yeah.
but it's still their story to tell.
Right.
And I feel very strongly about everyone telling their story, and that's the healing, because I really, part of my philosophy is that hurt people, and as
Yeah,
long as
that's
we're
true.
hurting and we're not trying to heal, we are going to continue to hurt, whether we intend to or not.
Or not, yeah.
So part of the journey is sharing, because as we share, we realize we have compassion for each other,
And empathy and
we
things
have
like
more, more alike than
Hold that
not.
thought. We need to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
So we'll be back to the Natasha No Show.
Okay.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, you can cut me with your lies, you can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
Hi, welcome back to the Natasha No Show. I'm your host, Natasha P. Knows, and today's guest is Angela Taylor. Yeah, so talk to us, Angela. Who inspired you to become a teacher? Because you've been teaching for over 25 years.
Yes.
And then also you have two sons, and then you have a nephew that you
Yes.
adopted. So
Yes.
talk to us a little bit about motherhood and teaching, because I know that all coincides and goes hand in hand.
Well, I was actually a criminal law major, and I had a conflict with within my political science class. The question came up as to being counsel for someone who has committed the crime but still has a right to fair representation.
The due process.
And I well, representation, and then due process is
Comes
before,
later.
comes
Is it
first.
oh, it does?
Yeah,
Okay.
due process is when you tell
I've been out of
well,
college
look,
for over
I'm
23 years.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is law stuff, but to and to counsel and to be represented, right? I had an issue with when it came. I said, what if they hurt a child? See, this was something that was coming from my experiences,
Right.
and I hadn't come to peace with people who hurt children.
Right.
And I said I could not do that. I could not represent someone who I knew had hurt a child.
Right.
And I was really upset because all my life, you're going to be a lawyer. You talk, you're going to be a lawyer. You got that legal mind, And I didn't know I said, what am I going to do? I had a guidance counselor in high school, Mr. D'Amato, and he really took me under his wing. When I came from Brooklyn, I was so raw. I was so in need of understanding.
Right.
And he was it. And he was the first one I ever even told anything about my past. And he said, well, what about being a teacher, Angie? You used to tutor, you did the. And I said, what am I going to teach? But I became duly certified in learning disabilities and history.
Nice.
So so long story short, 25 years later, I love it.
Yeah.
The more I connect with the students, the more it seems like
This was meant to be.
it was meant to. Oh, I'm sure now, more so than ever. And I also understand now why why I even had the legal background first. Like
Right.
so
That was important.
and with my children, I mean, I lived vicariously through my children. I didn't have a mom to leave them. Like, my kids went everywhere with me. Even I've served on boards. I was chair of education for the NAACP. I was vice president of the Board of Education for the vocational and technical schools of Bergen County. So, but these kids, my kids, they came with me. Like, they'd be in the little room eating sandwiches while I was sitting on the board. There we go.
That's important.
And I love. It was like I became a kid. I got to have the childhood I would have wanted.
Right. Because
I got to we went on vacations and we did stuff as a family. And I was married 18 years, and it's a very amicable divorce after 3 years. And that's okay too. You know, like, all of these things came so full circle for me as far as just healing.
Yes.
And I want to share that because I want more people to heal. And that's why even the second book, there's a prompt to get you to start to tell your own story. Because the process was like just writing it down. And even the period of time when I didn't share it, I didn't want anyone to see it, there was healing in just writing it down. There were things I hadn't thought about in years, and I cried.
And it was good to get it out.
And I cleansed, and it was a process.
Yeah.
And and then when I finally shared, then it was like, well, what if they don't like it? And it's not perfect. So what? It's not perfect.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not about
So
anybody
what?
liking it. It's about you able
it
to
is.
release that.
When you write a book, it's
I mean,
your
that-
baby.
yeah, that-
it's like somebody saying
technically
your
it
kid
is,
is
but-
ugly.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Like,
if you're writing from your heart,
Right.
then it's gonna be well received.
no, but right. Well,
you know.
no.
well-
And it's not for everybody.
I was gonna say, everybody doesn't
It's
think
not
like me.
for
So
everybody. No, it's not. I mean, every book is not for everybody. But if it's for you, it's for you.
Right.
And I was cool with that too, because that's what someone else said. Well, if it helps one person, I said, if it helps one person, it's worth it.
Right.
And that's where you have to start.
Right.
So, and that's why I inspire everybody to write their story.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Before we go, though, I would love for you to share your social media sites. If we can support in any way, how can we buy
sure.
the book?
Well, okay, so the books are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and BAM.
Okay.
My website is www.findinghealingbook.com.
Okay.
There you'll find my email, taylorangela97@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I am on Instagram. My
Tell us
maiden
your
name,
social media site.
right, my professional name is Angela Taylor.
Okay.
My pen name is Angie Milazzo because that was my maiden name, and that is really the whole story that I'm telling is up to the point before I become Taylor.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I read that in your bio. I was like,
right,
well,
that's why I
say
put in
Milazzo?
parentheses.
Yeah, I
That,
saw
so
that.
Angie
Yeah.
Milazzo is
It
my
was
pen
very
name.
self-explanatory.
Good.
And it was
But
well.
I am going
well
to add the word born
in the bio, yeah. We
yeah.
had like a little sidebar thing
Yeah,
before
it
the
made
show.
sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, okay, I
But
see where, yeah.
you're such an inspiration. It was some parts that you were talking about your story that gave me goosebumps and stuff. You have a great energy. I wish you the best of luck with your book and with, teaching and things like that, because we're living in a society that the kids can kind of be either off or on.
Yeah.
So with that said, thank you for being a guest on the
Love
Natacha
my
No Show.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. Thank you for tuning in for the Natacha No Show. See you next time. Thank you for watching the Natacha No Show. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. for Rise and Fios Channel 26. Please check your local listing. Natacha knows.